Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review YouTube channel. And it is match preview night, where we are previewing tomorrow's match at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Newcastle United. I've got my old mucker John Sinclair with us. How are you doing, John?
Paul, I'm absolutely fine, mate. Thanks for having us on, mate.
Good, good. And we got Joe, the Villa fan. How are you doing, bud?
Hey guys, you all right? Both all right?
Yeah, good, good. Right, we've got some comments already come in before we actually get into the nitty-gritty of the game itself. Lee says, for those going to the match, where's the best pub closest to the ground for away fans? Well, Joe, you'll probably be perfectly and give a good answer for that one.
Away fans, there's Ruskin Hall, probably about 10-15 minute walk. That's probably the most known place that, except they have two separate halves of the pub. So they have one section for Villa fans, other section for away fans. So the Ruskin Hall in Aston, about 10 minutes from the ground, that's probably the best place to go. Right,
spot on. There you go, Lee. Are you gutted Villa didn't sign James Ward-Prowse from Southampton, Joe?
No. He's a very good player, but he's not what we needed. He's very good player, exceptional, really good. Glad he stayed at Southampton, but in my opinion, I don't think we needed him, to be honest.
And what's your thoughts on Steve Bruce? Because I think you know what Newcastle fans think of him. So as an ex-Villa manager, what's your feelings on Mr. Bruce?
Really nice guy. I can't argue out the person he is, but manager-wise, I'm going to say probably same as you both. He clueless, no good.
I mean, Johnny came. He was on Radio Newcastle yesterday. I don't know whether you've heard any of it. For me, a lot of scripted questions. I don't care what they say. People asking stupid questions like, "Does he watch Love Island?" and crap like that. That's not what we want to hear as Newcastle United fans. We want to hear, the nitty gritty of what he's trying to do at the club. Yeah, there was some good questions asked of him. Why does he persist with five at the back? Will Joe Linton succeed, etc., etc. But again, the real tough questions didn't come, did they?
I only watched the first half an hour, and I knew he was going to get a rough ride. Listen, end of the day, Paul, I mean, we know well, Steve Bruce gets away with it yet again, every single week. And it seems to me that I'm sure it's been scripted before they even come on the show, because they must have chose people. And we got to ask one question. I mean, Albert asked 3 questions yesterday, but for me, I mean, I watched half an hour. Paul had enough of it, mate. I just think it's complete and utter waste of time. It's all hype, thinking that, oh, great, good to see the hard questions coming in. But at the end of the day, I think our fans, we all talk here. We give it the big ones, right? But when it comes to nitty-gritty, we just spotted it. And I said this many a time, we were sure. Yeah.
Joe, just for you, I mean, your season kicked off at Watford last week, and you nearly got it back, but I think you must have been a bit horrified being 3-0 down at one stage.
Yeah, 2-0 down at half time was bad enough, but then they scored the third goal pretty quickly in the second half, and I just thought it's typical Villa. It's the hopes to pre-season. We've had a good pre-season. Grealish obviously leaving has obviously put a bit of kick in the teeth for everyone, but it weren't the ideal start. The first hour we were poor. We turned up like that Saturday, and I think you could easily beat us quite easily.
Yeah, did you see us on Sunday? Did you see us?
You know what? I watched the Sunday, and to be fair, the penalty wasn't nowhere near a penalty. I can't fathom how that's given as a penalty. But I actually don't think you actually played bad. I just think the penalty. I thought what Saint Maximin was brilliant every time he got on the ball. He absolutely sent them West Ham players cracking because they couldn't deal with him.
Yeah. And
again, if he comes up against us like that, I think we could have a couple of issues with him, I think.
You've got some players coming back, haven't you? Like Bailey's looking to start. Watkins back again, hopefully. According to rumours, I don't know how true they are, but is it a case of Villa just got new signings still blending in? Do you think that's why they maybe started slow at Watford? Yeah.
I think the whole, with the whole Grealish situation, how late it happened wasn't ideal. We know. I've always said if there's a big tournament coming on, if you want to move, you get it moved before you go to a big tournament. So it makes it easier for us. But then he's come back, had his holiday, they put the bid in, and it was near enough 2-3 days of Villa fans thinking, is he staying, is he going? Then obviously he moved on. But we spent the money well. I think we have anyway. But yeah, I think Ings got his goal. I don't know if it's a penalty, but he got that goal now. And I think Bailey, when he came on for the last 25 minutes, he did look really good. So I'm confident in the signings that we've got in anyway.
Yeah. There's another question here for you, Joe. And basically what it is it's there was a Newcastle YouTuber last week who was very bitter about the West Ham defeat, it has to be said. And a lot of Newcastle fans completely disagreed with what he had to say on his video. But he also made the excuse that the draws for the Cups are basically staged. And his exact words are this. He said that, I mean, this is from one of my subscribers. He says, Joe, do you think the League Cup draw is fixed and heated balls are used? Just asking for a fellow YouTuber. Because he actually came out and said that the draws for the Cups were fixed against Newcastle because certain balls are heated up before they go in the bag or the ball thing that they spin them round in. And when the people drawing them out, they can feel the heated balls so they know which ones are the big clubs. I mean, have you ever heard anything as ridiculous as that in your life?
No, I've generally. Who have you got in the cup? Who have you got in the cup then?
Burnley at home. I wouldn't have thought that was really a setup, to be honest.
That's not the we got bloody Barrow away in League Two.
Yeah.
Jeez, I mean that's the one. As soon as I saw them draw, I thought, that's us. And we're on Sky as well. And I thought even bloody better, but no, I think that's heated balls. That's just preposterous. That's just stupid. That is, I completely agree there.
Exactly. John, obviously Mr. Bruce has been in his press conference today. So he's had a few things to say about various things. I've only got a couple of quotes here. On the opening day defeat, Steve Bruce said, first half, I thought it was a smashing game of football. Unfortunately, in the second half, we got caught. And what we can't do is chase the game the way we tried to. We left ourselves open and vulnerable. So we've got to make sure that can't happen again. So how does Mr. Bruce stop that, John?
Well, I've done a press conference reaction earlier on, and I basically said the same thing. Basically, I mean, he'd said that last season as well. He's said it so many times. How many times have been opened up, right, last season? Quite a few. And his comments going to say, we must let it happen again. Well, you're going to say it again because our defence is absolutely awful. It really is. And I've noticed when John Shelby goes back and goes deep into defence, our midfield looks weak. Very weak, wide open. And
well, Shelby's out tomorrow, isn't he? He's got a calf injury, so he's not playing. Now, does he start Joe Willock, or will he leave Willock on the bench and start that Brazilian footballer from another mother, Jeff Hendrick?
Oh my God! I mean, I hope Joe starts, but me personally, I don't think he'll start because he's only played 45 minutes pre-season. You know that, and I would not be in the slightest if he picks Jeff Hendrick. I think Steve Bruce wants to do things this way, and he's not gone about the right way. But listen, I think he'll pick Hendrick. I don't think Willock's match fit yet, but I think he'll keep him for the Southampton game. But I hope I'm wrong.
Oh, Christ almighty. Another one for you, Joe, here. Which Newcastle player do you fear as a Villa fan? Obviously, St. Maximin would be one, but is there anybody after that you would be concerned about?
Callum Wilson will be one of them.
Yeah.
And if he does play, Joe Willock. I think Arsenal have. I think they've made a mistake selling him. I really do. I think what he did for you back end of last season was absolutely fantastic. But I generally thought to myself, they'll keep him, they'll have to. But if sold him and then bought Odegaard, and I just think they've made a mistake there with Willock.
Odegaard didn't do much for me last season. I don't think he was the be-all and end-all for Arsenal. But you're right, Willock changed our season. But we've been saying earlier in the week that we can't really rely on Joe Willock as a young kid just to transform our season and keep us up. I mean, what are Villa like up front for pace, Joe? Are they? Have you got a lot of pace up top this season?
We have Watkins, but I don't think Watkins is fit. I think he's still injured. Traore is not fit. He was injured. He's out for. They reckon he's out for about 4 weeks.
Right.
So it's going to be real. Ings isn't the quickest. He's obviously getting on, so he's lost his pace. But I'll probably say it's Bailey. That's the one. He reminds me of St. Maximin. He gets the ball. He doesn't try and look central, or he just literally just runs at you, and he's got the pace to get past people.
Which
so he's
is
probably
bad news.
the main one.
Which is bad news for Newcastle, John. If we've got somebody who's going to put the head down and run it out at back five, because no doubt he'll play a back five again tomorrow. I don't see him changing that, but it's who he plays there, John. Because if he plays Kraft there, then Bailey's going to have a field day if he starts against somebody like Emil Kraft, or for that matter, Kieran Clark, who's just obviously ex-Villa as well. He seems to have gone backwards lately. So does he bring back Shah, or does he bring Fernanda? Does he bring Lascelles in? Things have got to change, haven't they, from last week's defensive performance?
Do you know what it is, right? I mean, I'll come to defense stats in a bit, but we need to change that defense, really. I mean, Clark ain't good enough. Kraft ain't good enough. We know that. Okay, yeah. But when Lascelles will come back, I'm sure. Shah's going to come back in. I hope Fernandez, you've got to keep him in because he's one of the better defenders than we've got. But if you notice, right, the last 4 seasons, right, I mean, we conceded 47 goals, 48. Then, when Steve Bruce took over, you consider 58 goals, and then last season you see 62. Our defense has gone absolutely backwards, and I'm scared how many goals we're going to see this season. That defense has not been fixed up. It needed an overhaul in the summer, and you cannot defend these defenders. You just can't, because it's just not good enough.
Yeah. I mean, we've been poor at Villa Park the last 2 occasions we've been. I think we've lost 2-0 on both occasions. Last season was just drab. It was terrible performance down there. Carl comes up with a good point here. Newcastle could name 4 goalkeepers in the Premier League squad in the 25, with Dubravka suffering setback in recovery from foot injury. Carl Darlow's struggling post-COVID. Now, apparently, Darlow is still quite poorly since he's come out of hospital. Dubravka has now suffered a setback. He's caught an infection in the area which was operated on, I believe. So he's really struggling. Now, I watched Steve Ray's show earlier, and Mitch came up with a good suggestion, John, that maybe that out of the 4 goalkeepers, the one goalkeeper who was going to take longest to come back should maybe stay out of the squad until January and come back into the squad then. So if Dubravka's not going to be available till November, December, why include him in the squad? The same with Darlow. You see what I mean? So why would you... that place could go to a player. It seems crazy naming 4 goalkeepers in the squad, John.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no point putting them in the squad. They're not going to come back to November, December, January sort of thing. That's a good point. I did listen to the earlier show, but yeah, you could put in 2 extra players in, but who do you put in? The 2 extra players in, who would you put in?
Well, I mean, it depends if he brings anybody in, doesn't he? If these apparent loan deals which are bubbling away in the background, if they come off, then maybe we can. But we know that sometimes he talks a load of garbage anyway in his press conferences. So, Joe, back to you. We've obviously we've seen Tyrone Mings in the England squad, and obviously he's worked his way up, and he's done okay at Villa. But from an outsider's perspective, do you think he's underrated from outside of Aston Villa, or are you in the same boat that maybe he's overrated? What's your views on Mings?
I like him. I do. He's had difficult games. Yeah, I think it was a couple of years ago. He played Leicester at Villa Park, and he done his hamstring. He came back on, tried to run it off, but then Vardy blistered him for pace and scored. And that was, that was a bit daft. I know he was trying to carry on playing, but that was a bit daft. He couldn't run, and Vardy just blitzed him and scored again. I think he is. I don't think he's given the credit that he's given. I mean, we signed him for 27 million. Mm-hmm. He was injury ravaged at Bournemouth, and I just think to myself, I look at what Man United paid for Maguire, 80 million, and I just think to myself, you know what, we ain't got a bad signing there for 27 million. I think he's done well for us. I think he's a leader. I think he's been a much bigger leader than Grealish in the last probably 2-3 years. Yeah, because he's vocal, but I said, as far as I'm concerned, whether he's liked outside of Aston Villa, it doesn't really concern me because he's loved the Villa, so it's all good for me.
Fair enough. I mean, obviously, we don't get to see him week in, week out, so it's kind of, obviously defenders are, they get highlighted whenever they make a mistake more than a midfielder or a striker, I guess, because it could lead to a goal, and that's where they get singled out more than more than the outfield players. But what about Martinez in goal? I mean, I've got him in my fantasy team, so I'm hoping he has a stinker tomorrow. But then the rest of the season he has a blinder. He was a steal from Arsenal, wasn't he?
Yeah, that was. I mean, I was when we signed him, I thought it was difficult because he was 20. I think we signed him when he was 27. I think he's not long just before he turned 28. And I thought he's been out on loan. He's been playing in League Cup games and FA Cup games. And I just thought that's a lot of money to pay for a keeper who's rarely played we only played first team football after Project Restart. That was because Leno got injured. But to be fair, he's proved me wrong. He's been absolutely magnificent. He's been fantastic. Like you said, he's been a snip. And I think to myself that Arsenal have now just spent 24 million up to 30 now for Ramsdale.
Ramsdale,
wow,
crazy, absolutely crazy for a keeper that's conceded. I think it's 122 goals in 2 seasons he's conceded. And they've paid nigh on up to 30 million for him, and then you get Martinez for the price you did. I think it's an absolute steal, and I think he will. As I say, I hope he has a blinder the rest of the season after tomorrow, and boost my fantasy team up a bit the way I've started. Ginger says, if Bruce goes, can we get Dean Smith? Is he well thought of, Dean Smith, with you lot? Yeah, I'll say he is. He had a tough. I think our first season back in the Premier League, I think he had a tough. I think he had a bit of divide of Villa fans wanting him out, and especially I think the last game before lockdown, I think we lost 4-0 to Leicester, and it looked over. I think we looked finished and live. But no, I think he's well thought of. I think would I let him go to Newcastle? No, not a chance. I went. As long as he's at that club, I said it's good to have someone that knows, he knows the club. I know, obviously, Bruce being Newcastle fan, I know it's very different because of the manager he is. But I said with Smith, we've had managers over the years that have been at the club and they've not cared about the fans, and that's what Villa have wanted since Martin O'Neill. That's all we've wanted, and we've never had that until Dean Smith. So, and to be honest, we still debating whether Steve Bruce is a Newcastle fan. We have with doubts, don't we, John? But hey ho. I'll ask you both this question, really, because it's an interesting one from Lee. He says, thoughts on the rivalry between Newcastle and Aston Villa? I mean, this stems back, obviously, to when we got relegated down at Villa, when there was like sub on the time banners and stuff like that. But, I've got loads of people who follow my channel who are actually Villa fans and good lads and lasses, that I tend to get on quite well with the Villa fan base, for, going to the games, having a bit crack on. And I think they're a good bunch myself. And I don't really think there's a nasty rivalry there. I think that, the sub on the time stuff for me was just banter. It's banter between fans. John, we'll start with you. I mean, do you think there is a nasty rivalry between Villa and Newcastle?
I don't think it is. I mean, you just mentioned it there. It's just a banter sort of thing as well, because we really got relegated last season. Yeah, it was sad, but they kind of rubbed in a little bit. But it's not really a rival between us and Villa, really. And yeah, what can I say? I mean, we just haven't beaten them enough, haven't we, sort of thing. And for me, let's hope tomorrow we can do the business. Will we? I doubt it very much, but you're right. I mean, it's just a banter for me.
I mean, there was one stage a few seasons back where we were Villa's bogey team. They couldn't beat us, and and then it suddenly changed around to the fact that we can't even score against them for God knows how long. So it swings and roundabouts. But I mean, how do you look at Newcastle, Joe? Do you think there's a nasty rivalry there, or is it because I don't see it personally. I don't see the nastiness between the clubs. And for me, I'm not one of these football fans who wants to get nasty with anyone anyway. I like to have various fans on my channel. I go on other people's channels and talk to them on social media and stuff like that. And that's how it should be for me. Where you can talk with opposition fans about the game and have a bit of banter. It doesn't have to get nasty, but we know what social media is like. But, do you think there is?
No. I think it is banter. It's rivalry. So at the end of the day, I'm not gonna mince my words. I went Newcastle, Aston Villa. They're two of the biggest. They're the biggest clubs in there where they are. North East. As soon as you see North East, you hear Newcastle. You don't hear Sunderland or Middlesbrough. You hear Newcastle United. when you hear the City of Birmingham, Aston Villa, I said the two massive clubs. I said, by the way, the banter between us when you got relegated, I said it was just fans. I don't see it as being a nasty rivalry. I think Newcastle. I mean, I've been to St James's Park before, and I think the first time I went was when Bowyer and Dyer had the scrap.
Oh my God!
And like, that was probably, I was only probably about 12 at the time, and I didn't I think a bit confused about it, but I said I loved the atmosphere. The atmosphere was fantastic, and I thought I could go again. I don't think I've been. I think last time I went, we lost 6-0 against you.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit nervous about going back. There's
been some matches in the past that have like real proper matches with loads of goals, excitement, and everything. And sometimes Villa have had a thumping, sometimes Newcastle have had a thumping, or it's been like 3-2, 2-1, 4-3. It's kind of one of those fixtures that you can almost guarantee goals in. And I know there's been a couple of drab 0-0s over time, but in the main, it's been quite an exciting match. NUFC 1892 says St Maximan against Matt Target would be interesting tomorrow.
It'll be interesting. It won't be easy for Target. Jesus, the way he played against Sarr on Saturday was abysmal.
Was it? So he's needing to pick up his form. I mean, John, we've said that Villa, from our perspective, losing the first game and then being in front of the home fans again after such a long time. Villa will want to put that result right, so they'll be up for it even more. And the fact that the home fans are back in the stadium, and we tend not to do very well on our travels with atmospheres like that, John.
No, it don't. I think if you look at it, I mean, some of the fans, some of the players, just forcing the big games as well. Yeah. And I've noticed that as well. But going in tomorrow's game against Villa want to bounce back after that defeat last week. And the things we go to Villa haven't got a good record against them nowadays, but I fear that you look at the Villa attack, they've got pace. I mean, Bailey's got pace, Watkins, if he plays, got pace, Brendia's got pace, and we haven't got a fast defense. It's just slow, Lombard sort of thing, We just can't handle pressure football. But you're right. It's going to be tough tomorrow, Paul. I really do think it'll be tough tomorrow.
It's the movement of it. It's the movement of Ings that I'm worried about as well. I mean, Joe, you said there's not a lot of pace in Ings now because of his age, but his sense around the 18-yard box is still there, isn't it? He's still got that instinct, a bit like Callum Wilson. I know Callum Wilson's got more pace than him, but that in the 18-year area instinct to know where the goal is without putting his head up. And that's what he can probably do to Newcastle tomorrow if, we sit back and do what we did against West Ham in the second half last week. Villa could have a field day tomorrow, Joe.
I hope so, but I don't know. It's when I saw the pictures come out, I saw Watford, Newcastle, Brentford, and I thought, yeah, I'm happy with that. And then after Saturday, I thought, this could be, because I watched Brentford against Arsenal, and as much as Arsenal or Brentford were absolutely unbelievable, and I thought this could be another one of those seasons. And I still think it with Newcastle. I just think there's this. They always bring out that performance in that game you kind of don't expect. They don't do well away, but I said they could. If we're not careful, if we play like we did in the first hour against Watford, I think it's going to be a really long day for us as well.
See, it's very strange you saying that, Joe, because me and John are on quite. We're saying that from a Newcastle fan's point of view as well. So after us getting thumped last weekend, we're like thinking, "Oh Jesus Christ, we're going to go to Villa and we're going to get humped." So it's interesting that you were saying exactly the same from a Villa point of view that we are from Newcastle after us both losing on the opening day. Paul says, "Good evening, lads." Paul's gone for a 6-1 Villa win tomorrow. That's how confident we are as fans, Joe. There you go. Paul says we're doomed, and what the hell is going on with Sean Longstaff? I don't know. It'll be very interesting, John, to see if Longstaff's involved tomorrow.
Well, if he's not involved tomorrow, then we know it's going to be on his way to Everton by the sounds of it. But even from a £50 million player on the offer to £10 million player on the boost, what does that tell you all about? I mean, he's not being coached right by Boots. And if you're not being coached right, then you're going to go backwards sort of thing. I like Sean, but at the end of the day, I think he's gone backwards on the boost. That's not his fault, by the way. The blame lightly goes on the manager. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Lee asks a good question for you, Joe. If you could pick one player from Newcastle's history to put in today's current Villa team, who would it be?
Ooh. I'm gonna Alan Shearer's the obvious one, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, you know, she was the obvious one, but there's like, you know, you've got Andy Cole back in the day before he went to Man United, Gary Speed, you know, Rob Lee. There is some decent players there who could do a job. And John, same question for you. If there's one player in Villa's history you could put it in Newcastle's team, who would you think?
I say the same. Pick one player from Villa's history.
Well, you can't say Shearer because he played for you, man. A Villa player.
Oh, Ron Villa. Back in the day, I mean,
well, it can be anybody from Villa's history, really.
Just played for Villa, he did, didn't he? So he just played for Villa.
Yeah, he played for Villa. Yeah.
I told you, I pick him. Gary Shaw.
You've gone back a few years there, John. Jesus Christ.
If you go out today, Juan Pablo Angel, I'll go for him as well. I think.
Really?
I think he's decent.
Okay.
I mean, let's put it this way: the first season is poor, but the second and third season, I mean, it took them time to get used to the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then years by in, he became a Villa legend. And I tell you what, I mean, he scores as well for the club. He's got it right. But Gabby Abominable.
No, don't you dare say him.
No, I don't think so. I can't
stand that. Joe, actually, speaking of Gabby Abominable,
I'd take though. I mean,
who?
Good defender, Sean Till. Going back, Sean Till, would you take him?
Sean Till was a decent Paul McGrath back in the day. I mean, Joe, you look at Gabby Agbonlahor. Now, we've had plenty to say on Gabby Agbonlahor because he keeps on sort of kissing Steve Bruce's arse on Talk Sport. And it really, really pays us off beyond belief. But then I got a tweet off a Villa fan saying that, we're on your side with Gabby Agbonlahor because not a lot of Villa fans like him. Is that true?
I do like him. You know, I think he done what he done for the club. He done well for the club. I don't take what interested. I know he goes on Talk Sport, but I don't get why. You know, he kisses Steve. If he's kissing Steve Bruce's arse, I don't get why because
it's terrible, man. It is just you can't say any bad word to say about Steve Bruce to Agbonlahor because he just goes on the defensive with him, which is very, very strange. But unless, I mean, he did work with him at Villa, didn't he? So did he work with Steve Bruce? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, it was at Villa. Yeah.
So maybe there's a friendship there. I don't know. Paul says, "What's going on with Matty Longstaff?" It looks like he's going out on loan, mate, to be honest. I think that's the best option for everybody all round, really, for Matty. Lee says he fancies Villa to win 2-1. Good evening, Geordie. Hope you're well. Paul says Newcastle United midfielder Matty Longstaff is set to sign a 1-year contract extension ahead of his loan exit from St James's. That was rumoured earlier in the week as well, Paul. But, the way he's been treated, I can't see him. I really can't see him signing that. I just can't. Geordie thinks, do you think since Shelvey is injured that Longstaff should start the match, John?
I'd rather have Sean starting than Henrik. Let's be real.
Oh, God,
I doubt about it now, but with us starting tomorrow, I say, we can't get any worse, can we, at the end of the day? But
if he's on the verge of, if these rumours are true that he's on the verge of moving to Everton, then his head's not going to be in the right place, is it? And it is a big game for Newcastle tomorrow because if we lose to Villa tomorrow, we've got Southampton next. And it's like Joe said earlier, when they looked at Villa's opening 3 fixtures, they thought, not bad start. That's how we looked at it as well. You know, West Ham at home, Villa away, Southampton at home. If we could get sort of 6 points from our home games and a point at Villa Park, we'd have done very, very well for the opening 3 games. But if we lose tomorrow, and then Southampton game becomes more massive. So we need players surely that are going to have their heads in the game tomorrow. And if Longstaff's has been turned by a possible move back to working with Rafa, then it's going to be a difficult game for him.
I agree with you. I totally agree. But they need to think about picking him tomorrow, sort of thing. Like I said, if he doesn't get picked, he's on his way. But personally, I wouldn't pick him. But he just talking about the fixture list as well. If we get beat off Villa, then Southampton. We got Man U and Leeds after that.
Yeah. Well, it's we need to get some points in by Christmas because our Christmas period is horrendous. Nothing wrong with Shelvey. He's a pussy, says Paul. So apparently he's not really injured in Paul's opinion. Geordie says Steve Bruce admits a lot of Newcastle players have not been vaccinated. It'll be interesting to get both your thoughts on this, actually. It will start with you, Joe. I mean, has there been any sort of media news that the Villa players have all been vaccinated, or is there still a few who have refused? Or has that just not come out into the general public?
I don't think anything else. I don't think anything coming to the public about anyone who's refused. I believe it's they want to get vaccinated. It is their choice, but like they said, I think September. If you haven't been vaccinated twice, you're not coming to games. And I said, well, and you know, if you decide not to vaccinate, that's your stuff. But I've had my first jab. I got my second one Monday. So no, I don't think anything's come out about the Villa. I think a lot of them got vaccinated May or June, I think.
Yeah.
So I think, but I've not heard anything media-wise anyway. They've not, if anyone's refused or whatnot. So
what John Steve Bruce said on his radio interview yesterday that he was actively pursuing everybody to get vaccinated, and I think it really hit home to the Newcastle squad more so after what happened with Darlow. Fit and healthy, top of his game. And then he gets the virus, ends up in hospital, loses 1.5 stone in weight. And he's still at home recovering now, trying to get his health back to normal again. It just goes to show, really, doesn't it?
It does. It's the most important thing now is get yourself vaccinated if you get that chance. And then hopefully things get back to normal. But we had players had COVID. Jamal's had COVID, Alan's had COVID as well, and now Darlow's got COVID. But at the end of the day, I just think get us sorted out very soon, and then hopefully everything will be okay. So yeah.
I mean, it's just come out as well that Lacazette and Aubameyang have both got COVID-19 as well. With the Arsenal fans are kicking off about because they just said they had an illness or they were injured last week, and it turns out they got COVID. Why not be honest with the fans? It's mental. Ryan, the Chelsea fan, says, sorry, Paul, I'm going 3-0 Villa. I can't see anything but relegation battle this season. I told John, with injuries, goalkeeper infections and COVID going around, your ground again, it's a mess. We haven't been hit too badly by COVID, to be honest, in recent weeks, but our football ground as a whole is a mess. It hasn't been tidied up. It still looks like just a dirty rundown football stadium at the minute, and we'll not even touch on the training ground. I mean, I don't know whether you know, Joe, but Newcastle's training ground, our ice baths, and this is a Premier League football side, our ice baths are wheelie bins.
What?
Yeah.
Wheelie bins?
Wheelie bins.
Basically
filled with water and ice. And they also have a couple of children's paddling pools just on the side wall of the training ground. That is how bad Newcastle United's training ground is because of the lack of investment from our owner.
Oh,
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, some Sunday League teams, some Sunday League teams don't even have that.
Yeah,
crazy.
It's not even, not even Premier League level. We're not talking about just the Premier. We're talking about Newcastle United and they're using wheelie bins as ice baths. That's just. Do you know what I said? I've got time for Newcastle as a club, supporters. I haven't got time for that owner. I think he's an absolute clown.
Yeah, well said. Well
said.
You
know what it is? Do you know what it is, Joe? Right, he's been in the order for 14 seasons, right? 14 seasons, right? And he's not once uploaded the training facility. He hasn't spent plenty of money into that at all. And also as well, the academy as well. The academy comes through and it's just bugger off elsewhere, sort of thing, But
the whole thing's a bit of a shit show, John, to be honest.
It's a mess.
Has been. Geordie says, hopefully we sign 2 to 3 more players this window, but I can't see any deals have been permanent. Nothing will materialise until the final 48 hours of the window. Thing is, Geordie, when was the last time you actually got excited about a transfer deadline day with Newcastle United? They send a Sky Sports reporter up there, and he's basically sitting on his arse eating Greg's pasties all day because he's got nothing else to do, because there's never any signings. And it's always the same case of Steve Bruce, we just couldn't get it over the line, all of this bollocks. And it's looking that way again. I mean, are Villa done for business this window, Joe, or is there a couple of potential signings still to come?
I hope not. We need a bit of we need a bit of steel in midfield. You know, our midfield, we've been known to have a very tiny midfield. I mean, we've got John McGinn, Marvellous Nakamba and Douglas Luiz. I don't think any of them would put 5
What a name that is, by the way. Marvellous Nakamba. I mean, that is tremendous. That was a canny goal McGinn scored at the weekend, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, great goal. Yeah. I mean,
it's just what he's capable of.
That's probably Steve Bruce's best ever piece of business in his history. So I think $2.5 million it cost him from McGinn.
Is that all they paid for McGinn? $2.5 million?
That's how much we paid for him.
Jesus. Wow. Deal with a bit of positivity for us, John. Have faith, guys. We've got Willock tomorrow. But then again, you're putting pressure on Willock straight away. Go on, John.
So to say so to go back to our comment on Dell. Dell, if you listen to me, right, you can't pin your hopes on a 22-year-old. It's going to keep us up, yeah? It's bigger than that. We need more than Joe Willock to keep us up. We need a fit Callum Wilson to play the whole season, ASM to source chips and goals. Other than that, our defence needs fixing up as well. What does, I think, I could be wrong on this, but he has to understand we're going into the new season with the same squad. It hasn't improved at all, mate.
I know. It's the same one. Paul says, if we lose tomorrow, I'm giving up. Wow. It's a very, very early doors to be doing that. Wouldn't surprise, to be honest, says John. Evening, Keith. Hope you're well. Dale says, I think we'll all give up. Bollocks to Cabbage Head, says Paul. You can tell he's very well thought of up here, Joe. Jordy says, we will all give up come next match day. We are all back at it again. Yeah, of course we will. And I have a feeling Southampton will beat us next week. Well, you know what it is, John? Southampton come up to St James's next week, and you're guaranteed Adam Armstrong will stick a couple of past us just to stick us up, put us in the shit again.
It wouldn't surprise us at all. Again, what has he got? He's got pace, yeah? He's quick, skillful, pace, yeah? And our defence cannot cope with pace, right? But they got James Ward-Prowse just to sign a new 5-year deal. I've got them as relegation candidates this season. But if they come up to St James's next week and they beat us, we are going to be in serious trouble. Oh, and by the way, Steve Bruce, I think, should be moved on. I don't think he will, but if he loses Southampton,
Joe, we all say that. We all say that. It's been the case for months and months and months. Ryan says about the Premier League starting to find clubs with players who are not vaccinated. I don't think they could ever do that because it's, you're taking people's rights, human rights away, and you can't do that. The people cannot just turn around and say, right, you have to get vaccinated. It's personal choice, and it always should be. But I know the NFL in America have a pretty strict stance on it where if the a match has to be postponed down to COVID and things like that, there's a heavy fine, etc. Because they're having to reschedule the match, or the match just gets forfeited, I think was what they were saying. So it should be interesting to see what will happen, but I don't think they could ever force players who don't want the vaccination to have it. Michael says, evening, Paul and John, are we happy with Shelvey is injured, as harsh as that sounds? We'll see tomorrow, won't we, whether Shelvey's a miss or not. I mean, it depends who he plays in there. If he replaces him with Hendrick, then we're up shit creek before we even kick the ball in anger. Sean Longstaff, has his head been turned? We don't know. Willock, he's only had 48 minutes of pre-season football for Arsenal. He's not match fit yet, so whether he starts and comes off after an hour or whether they bring him on after an hour, but after an hour, we could be 3 or 4 down. So it could be too late for that. So it's a difficult decision for Steve Bruce to make, to be honest. Anthony says, Bruce's assessment of Emil Kraft had me in stitches. I'm not even going to talk about it, Anthony, because if I start talking about his comments on Emil Kraft, I'll get annoyed. Geordie says, BBC Newcastle Q&A sounded like the favourites got in. I was expecting people phoning up and having Bruce's life. It was never, ever going to happen that way. Luke, good evening. Been looking forward to the preview. Defo the best Newcastle channel on YouTube. Oh, thanks very much, Luke. Nice, kind of you to say so, matey. We've got Paul. So Shelvey is out. Watch Brucey put Jesus on in his place. That's Jeff Hendrick, by the way, Joe, because he looks a bit like Jesus these days with his longer hair. Geordie says Watkins is out, I heard. Is he out?
Yeah, as far as I know, he's out. He's still got bruising around his knee, and
right.
I think he's trained okay the last 2 days, but I think Smith's not going to risk it. So I think you guys right there. I think he is out.
Right. Evan says, "Hi Paul, should Willock start tomorrow?" Well, in my opinion, he should. And then if he tires, then bring him off. But John, you mentioned on your show earlier on, I was watching your press conference reaction saying about, he's a young kid, he's 22. Fitness shouldn't really be an issue for somebody so young. We know the pace of the Premier League is very fast, but then again, like I said, if he tires, then bring him off 60, 70 minutes. But start him, give the team and the fans a bit of a boost.
Yeah, looking back, sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to play. You just mentioned there, give the team a boost. I think you do okay. Like, he needs the games, these minutes on his belt, because at the end of the day, I mean, you can't keep him out of the team that long. So, yeah, give him a boost. See what he does tomorrow. You never know, he might score tomorrow. You never know. If he does, he equals Shearer's record, by the way.
Yeah, he will. Which is be 9 in a row, won't it? Yeah. So that's a big thing for Willock to go for. But again, you
can't put it on him.
You can't put everything on him because teams will have worked out how Newcastle played the back end of last season. So they will either double up on Willock or play a different style to counteract Newcastle's counter-attack. Because that's how we played towards the end of last season. That's how we got the points we did. We played counter-attack with a bit of pace. But teams will be wary of that now, and especially somebody is like Dean Smith. He'll have done a lot of watching of Newcastle, watching videos from the back end of last season, and know how we play with a counter-attack away from home. And sometimes it really doesn't work. What formation are Villa likely to go for tomorrow, Joe?
They'll probably go 4-2-3-1, I'd imagine.
4-2-3-1. Right. That's the formation we've actually been crying out for Steve Bruce to play for 2 years now. And he sticks to this 5 at the back. I think it'll be 5 at the back again for Newcastle. It'll go 3 centre-backs, the 2 wing-backs, who, by the way, the 2 wing-backs that he plays are actually wingers, not defenders. So there's half our problem straight away. So Matt Ritchie's lost a lot of pace recently. He had a stinker last week. Although I don't think it was as bad as some fans made out. Jacob Murphy has a lot of talent at right wing back, and I think he's good bombing forward. Defensively, still needs to improve, but he's learning that position. But if Villa are playing wide men tomorrow and have a go at us, they could get a lot of success that way. Bradley says missing the Bristol City fan, yeah, and he's actually at the match tonight. He tweeted out a picture of him being at Ashton Gate. So he's finally got himself to a game. Thoughts on the 4 goalkeeper bullshit from Paul and Keith? Yeah, we mentioned that before. I'd rather see one of the goalkeepers who's going to be out the longest miss out on the squad. That's the only way I can see it. I can see it going. Isn't it 5 with Langley? I believe Langley's gone out on loan, hasn't he, John?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, I'll check it up, but I just do not know if he's out on loan. And that's
I'm pretty sure Langley's gone out on loan. I'm pretty sure he has. Evening, Jake. Hope you're well. Jake, the Leeds fan. He'll be looking for a response for his team this weekend and all. Don't think Langley counts, though, as an under-23 kid. I'm pretty sure he's actually gone out on loan. Bruce will go with Hendrick tomorrow, says Anthony. Oh, shit. Really? God help us all if he does. Shell, obviously looking forward to Joe Willock coming back in. John wearing his sun shirt. Yeah. We know that John likes his bright shirts. It's Joe Willock's birthday tomorrow, so a perfect birthday present for him would be obviously scoring at Villa tomorrow. Is Dummett fit? No, he's not. He's out. Jordy says, we've failed to win at Villa since the 2013-14 season. We won 2-1 with Ben Arfa and Gouffran scoring for Newcastle. Yeah, that's almost 10 years ago, Joe. So there's a good omen for you Villa lot. Yeah. I mean, I told you, you're our bogey team now, without a shadow of a doubt.
Well, to be fair, 3 of the seasons was in the Championship.
Yeah,
I think
that's true.
I think I don't take much of it really with the last fail to win at Villa. I think it's going to be a lot tougher for us, to be fair, with the crowd behind us, because I said if we're struggling and we're 1-0 down early and we're struggling, the fans will start jeering us. So I think it's actually going to be harder for the players to actually play with fans now than it is without. So
yeah,
it could go against us tomorrow.
To be honest, if we fall behind 1 or 2 goals and we're not playing well, you just listen to the away fans tomorrow, mate. Because I tell you what, they'll be very, very vocal. Keith says, Monday nights are brilliant, Paul. Love the Four Horsemen show. Thanks, mate. Jake says, Paul, did you listen to the Bruce interview? No, I haven't listened to it all. I've read transcripts of it and I've listened to a bit of it. Spot on, Paul, about the goalkeeper positions. The Four Horsemen is the best show in history. Cheers, Thomas. Gillespie, I think, should be sold and put Langley at third choice. Yeah, I'm not really confident of Gillespie, John. I mean, since he made that mistake against Newport in the Cup last season, he's never been seen again.
Yeah, definitely not. I mean, all our Newcastle fans said, he's a Geordie, give him a chance, Yeah, but I'll judge him on the games he has played, and I have to agree with you, something. He loves to play out from the back, but end of the day, but for me, I think he should be out on loan.
Fair enough. Liam says, do you think Newcastle fans expect Willock to be as good as last season? I don't think he will, but I think he can help the team. Look, I mean, like I said, we can't put too much pressure on the kid. It's stupid if we just think that Joe Willock is going to solve all the problems at Newcastle United, because that just isn't going to happen. Especially it's not going to happen overnight. We know. All the fan base knows that the defense needs to be improved more than anything, and we need a backup striker, because if Wilson gets injured, we are morally up the creek without a paddle. No doubt about it. We are in the shit. Geordie says, in my opinion, Dubravka will miss half of the season, if not more, and it's going to be a long road to recovery for Darlow after COVID, if that's what Bruce is saying. And then Geordie says, Joe Linton tore a strip off Mings at St James's Park, and that says something. I think the words Joe Linton and tore a strip off any player is I think you're pushing it a little bit, mate, to say that he tore a strip out of Mings. He had a good game against Villa at St James's Park last season, but let's not push the boat too far here to say that Joe Linton tore strips off anybody. I'd like to see him do that this season, but we'll see. Evan says, nice singing, by the way, Paul, on Twitter. Thanks, mate. I just sort of posted one up there for as you do, just part of me bit of a sideshow, Bob, a bit of singing, but I've got a Facebook singing page and I tend not to put them on Twitter. Who needs John Lennon when he can have Paul instead? Cheers, Geordie. And here, you're a good singer, Paul. Cheers, Keith. It's not what the trolls had to say, though. The trolls were out in force at me yesterday on Twitter. And I just sort of answered them back very politely, as you know I do, John, and then hit the block button. But if any of the trolls are watching tonight, I'd just like to say thank you for your comments on me singing, but it's water off a duck's back. Fuck off. There you go. Geordie says Villa have two decent keepers, Martinez and Heaton.
Heaton's gone to United, by the way.
I was
going
to
say,
he's gone to Man United, hasn't he?
United.
Yeah. Are you surprised Heaton's gone to Man United, Joe?
Yeah, I'm surprised. He was unlucky. He got injured first season back in the Premier on New Year's Day against Burnley. He had a cruciate.
Yeah,
and it was just, I think it was just bad luck with him that we bought Martinez, because actually Heaton was probably at the time one of our best players until he got injured. He was fantastic, and I think when we played yourselves at Villa Park, I think it was 1-0 up, and he made an absolute cracking save from I think one of your defenders, and it was absolutely worldy. And I thought, but I just didn't get it. I said he's at the age where I think he needs to be playing, so I'm surprised he's gone to Man United, but.
Because know whether he'd be third choice, won't he, down there? I mean, he'd be third choice behind Henderson and De Gea.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, third choice there, and he's just going to sit there and not do a lot. It's sad, really.
Yeah. Ryan says Villa 4, Newcastle 1.
That's what I've got, man. That's what I've got as well.
Wow. Tangy says, I have more or less accepted Villa will beat us tomorrow, so hoping the Villa fans give Steve Bruce some stick, not just the Toon fans. You can see where this is going, Joe. Newcastle fans are very, very confident tomorrow in getting beat. Ryan says, Bruce definitely not a fan. You have a good manager, Joe, and Dean Smith, says Keith. We spoke about that before. It's more of a friendly rivalry between both clubs and not hatred. Yeah, that's fair enough. Bradley says Villa did help us win the championship. Yes, you did. Let's not forget that on the last day of the season when was it Grealish scored against Brighton, which gave us the title, which put Grealish down in legendary status for me. I mean, you talk about wanting an ex-Aston Villa player. Let's not forget that Grealish is now an ex-Aston Villa player, so we can bring him into the vote to come to Newcastle. You know, who would I like to see? Do I think he throws himself to the ground too often? Damn right. But this is what I was trying to explain, Joe, last season when, you know, teams are playing against Grealish and he's winning free kicks left, right, and centre. As an opposition fan, you hate him for doing that. But as your player, you know, he's winning your free kicks, he's winning your penalties, he's set piece taking, stuff like that. It's just a joy to have somebody like that, isn't it?
It was a joy. It was a joy. Yeah, he did go down a few times very easily, and like I said, it's one of them now. But he's at Man City now. He's, you know, he's when he comes back to Villa Park, and we're going to boo him now. So it's just one of them. Yeah.
I mean, did you buy those tears when he did his press conference?
No. I think he got announced on the night about 8:00.
Yeah.
I didn't talk to anyone for the rest of the evening. I woke up following morning, and I was kind of like, we got to move on. I'm not going to dwell on it. He's done well for himself. I'm happy for. I hope he does well at Man City. But at the end of the day, now if he expects fans, heroes welcome to Villa Park, I wouldn't, because at the end of the day, you're the opposition. You're not our ex-captain now. You're the opposition. So, but he hasn't done anything wrong in my part. I wish him all the best, and hopefully he does do well at Man City, and he wins loads of no doubt he'll win trophies there. So I'm happy for him anyway. Yeah,
Geordie makes a good point here. Bruce tried to swap Grealish for Jordan Rhodes. I don't think many people have actually forgotten that. And then look where Grealish is now compared to Jordan Rhodes. It's bizarre. Joshua says Newcastle, my starting 11 is Freddie Woodman, Kraft. Why have we got Kraft in the team, for bloody hell's sake, Josh? Manquillo, Shaw, Lascelles, Lewis, Willock, Hayden, ASM, Almiron, and Wilson. I choose Kraft because he will probably start. Oh, fair enough. If it's not optional, that's fair enough. Geordie says a 6-0 Carroll hat-trick. That was very moons ago. Yeah, back in the day, wasn't it? Both sets of fans will have cabbages at the ready tomorrow. I think it was the Villa fans that started all the cabbage stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was Preston game. I think we drew 1-1. We missed a penalty late on, and someone ran literally towards the dugout and chucked the cabbage at him, and then I think the same. I think the next day he was sacked. He was God history. So I'd get one.
Yeah, we've got about 5 minutes left of this show, so we'll rattle through some more of the comments. But this one from Keith Joe: what kind of reception will Bruce get off the Villa fans tomorrow?
Mixed. I think he'll get. Yeah, I think I don't have anything against the person. I don't have anything against this person. Manager is not very good, but I mean he criticised the fans a lot when he was at Villa.
Oh,
he was talking. He criticised us quite a few times, and I kind of
sounds similar, doesn't it, John?
Yeah.
I said
he criticised. Yeah, he criticised us quite a bit, and and I said at the end of the day, you get paid enough money. Take it. If I was in his job and I was getting stick off Villa fans or Newcastle fans or Man United fans, I won't bother me. I'm getting paid. This is my job, but yeah. I don't know, mixed reception. I'm not going to boo or cheer. I just want to win. I just want them to win. That's all I want. I'm not bothered about him.
Fair enough.
As well, Paul, as well, that having to go at fans, he had to go social, call us fans people warriors, and also he told us fans need to be patient in the transfer market as well. Yeah. We'll be very, very patient, right?
Christ, we've been patient in the transfer market for 10 years now. Jesus Christ!
Wow.
And then we go and spend 40 million quid on bloody Joe Linton. I mean, there was a question put to Bruce on the radio show that he was asking about Joe Linton, and the caller wanted to know if Steve Bruce thought that Joe Linton was going to make it in the Premier League, and Steve Bruce says, "Well, I hope so." You pay 40 million quid for a player, you'd expect him to make it in the Premier League. Anthony says 4-0 to Villa tomorrow. Geordie says 2-1 Villa or 1-1 draw, but he can't see us getting 3 points. Keith says 4-1 to Villa. Beat says, I think Villa will miss Grealish this season a lot. Bailey, Buendia and Ings are top signings. Can see a score draw tomorrow as both teams carry a genuine threat going forward. Geordie says 2-1 to the Toon. Interesting. What happened to Jade? She left the channel a while ago, Darren Mitch. She's concentrating on our mental health, and she's working from home, which it was just too much for her to do. So nothing happened bad. Jade just decided to step down. Still pals and everything, so don't worry about her. She's doing well. Paul said, one game we attack well and defend poorly. The next we can't score and defend decent. Honestly, have no hope of Bruce finding any balance. Dwight York says, Anthony, he would have liked to have seen him at Newcastle. Well, not since he went to the dark side, didn't he? He went and played for the Mackhams. Andy Gray was a good forward. Dwight York would be a choice. Pedro says, I want Newcastle to win, but our defence is a liability. We'll concede unless our attack is on fire. We are screwed. If Koundé joins Chelsea, we should try for Kurt Zuma. He has been a popular choice for Newcastle fans. Jordy says, Peter Witt, John.
Yeah, I mean, he was good in this time as well. Big, powerful lad, scores, good in the head. Yeah, I mean, in a state, it was very good.
Yeah. Tom says he thinks Villa will win 3-0. Brian says David Ginola, of course, played for both teams, didn't he? Tremendous player. I think it was late on in his career he went to Villa, though, didn't he?
Yeah, quite late on. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We've got far too many comments to put up to go through before the end of the show. So, but thank you very much. Judy says, so that's where my mum's stolen wheelie bin went. Yeah, yeah. They probably lined them up. The Premier League should fine Newcastle for the nonsense that is our training ground. Alan Barnes wants his wheelie bin back. That's a terrible thing to say, Lee. Judy says, next transfer window, we're making a move to buy an ice skip. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it comes to that. Looking for loans. We can't say our squad's the same when ASM, Almiron, Wilson, Big Joe, Callum Wilson, Fraser, Kraft, Bradford are all newish. We'll skip over that. Geordie says Burnley Cup match is just as big as Villa and Southampton match, in my opinion, because the Cup match is against a Premier League opposition. Not a low. It'd be interesting to see what team he puts out, to be honest. I can't see him making many changes, to be honest. Luke says, hi, Paul. Good show tonight. Would you like Lewis to play? I'd like to see Lewis in the... Yes and no. Providing he's got the confidence to get back in there and do a good job, to be honest. Yes, our squad isn't where we want it to be. Yes, the 40 million spent on Big Joe should have been spent on a Shelvey replacement. Yeah, but he's got no plans to replace Shelvey. I mean, Shelvey's one of his number one players. Right. So before we finish, thank you for all the comments that have come in. I'm sorry to any that we didn't get on the screen, but it's 10 o'clock on a Friday night. I need to go and sort my puppy out, and people have things to do. So just before we go, John, your prediction? I think you said 4-1, didn't you?
Yeah, 4-1 to Villa, and Villa will be 3 up at half time. 3
up at half time? Jesus, John. Christ. Joe, come on then, give us a prediction.
2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa. Well, I'm going 3-1 Villa. So, I mean, you're probably quite shocked at Newcastle fans' confidence about tomorrow, Joe, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm surprised. I think your back line. I think you said your back line is not the best, but I think your forward players are really. I mean, we got St. Maximum, Wilson, Almiron, and even Willock when he's back ready match fit. So I think you've actually got a really, really dangerous attack. I think generally. So yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, when the forward line, we didn't have a complaint against last week, but it's the fact that St. Maximin and John, you remember this doing your watch along. When we're sitting in the ground and I'm seeing St. Maximin coming into the sweeper position to pick the ball up, that's when you know you have a problem. You need your foot, like Declan Rice, for instance, for West Ham in that second half. He was winning the ball in that sweeper area, but he was bringing the ball out. He was driving at us. And then he would get so far as the halfway line or just over the halfway line, and then give it to like the likes of Bowen and Antonio and Ben Rama. They just made a fool of us, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see the likes of St. Maximin coming back into the sweeper position, and then he's running the full length of the pitch with the ball, but then after the hour mark, he's bloody shattered. So we've got to try and cut that out, but. Anyway, Joe, it's been a pleasure having you on, mate. Thank you for coming on the preview, and all the best for Villa this season, obviously, apart from tomorrow. Nice to speak to you both. Hopefully you don't get a good result tomorrow, but best of luck for the rest of the season anyway. Hopefully get you back on, mate, when you come up here later on this season. But thanks for coming on, mate. Take care.
And you take care, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, take care.
So that was Joe, really good guy, Villa fan, and it'd be nice to have him back on the channel in the future as well. John, obviously, we're doing the watch along tomorrow, or I'll be watching it on some kind of stream somewhere, no doubt. So we'll be able to see the goals going in and stuff like that. So we'll still be reporting on the game as it goes on. So looking forward to that tomorrow.
Fantastic stuff. Look forward to it. I'll be on 2:25, somewhere like that. I'm going to do the team lineups from both teams as well. Get a lot done that. Then I'm going to get you on as well after the game. I'm going to do like a phone in straight after the game on the same channel as well. So I'm just going to.
That wouldn't be a fan forum, would it, John?
No, it's just going to be one person at a time, and a time. And
that's still a fan forum, John. Just say fan forum, will you? Get it over with, man.
It's a fan forum, but I'm not going to go with the fans in, but I'm going to do one. Hey!
Hey, man, honestly, man, I just rip you for it. I don't mind at all. It's good that everybody, to be honest, mate, it's good that fans can get on various channels and have their say. They might not be able to get on one person's show, but then get on another show and have the say, which is what it's all about, mate. Right, I'll let you go. I'll see you tomorrow, and then again on Monday night for the Horsemen, mate. Take care, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.
You too, tomorrow. Thanks for having us on, mate.
Night, buddy.
Night, buddy. See you later.
So that was John Sinclair, the legend that is. Thank you to him and Joe for coming on the show tonight. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Been good football crack tonight, and talking about the match tomorrow and how we think it'll swing one way or another, the possible team lineups, etc. So it should be interesting. But thank you very much for all your comments tonight, guys. It's been interesting to get everybody's score prediction. What I am feeling is that there's not a lot of confidence with Newcastle fans that we're actually going to get a result tomorrow. But this is where Newcastle can surprise us. When we're all downbeat and we think we're going to get hammered, like at Leicester City last season, we went and put on a display. You never know in football. But it's the fact that we don't have much faith in the manager. We don't have much faith in certain players to do the job that they've been asked to do. Will we see a different formation tomorrow? No, I don't think we will. I think it's going to be the usual 5-3 kind of 1-1 or 5-2. Whatever he plays, really. I'm not so sure sometimes. But it has been great doing the show again tonight, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I will be doing a recorded reaction to the match, so that will probably be out tomorrow night. If not, certainly it'll be out Sunday. And then obviously back with live show on Monday night with the Four Horsemen of the Tomb. But any new news that comes up from Newcastle, I will be doing videos on, so stay tuned. Look on Twitter for that, or any notifications from YouTube. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a brilliant weekend. How are the lads? Let's get 3 points tomorrow, and I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Be strong.